Hello, guys. It is me. It is Queen Osset Haru. It is your Aquarius. And I'm coming today with another exciting edition of Ask an Aquarius. Okay, so I got a question from a couple people. And the question said, why do most relationships fail? Now, this person told me, it's a woman, she said that she's had, experience in her own life with her own, family members, relationships failing, her own relationships failing, television, celebrities breaking up. I found out that Channing Tatum and his wife broke up. I was like, oh, when Angelina and Brad broke up, I was heartbroken. So couples break up. And she was just basically saying that, so many different couples don't make it. Professional couples, gay couples, straight couples, poly couples, monogamous couples. I mean, she just ran it down and was like, you look at all types of different couplings or groupings, open relationships, anything people get into it. She's like, these relationships don't work. And she was like, why is it that most relationships don't work? She was like, I'm not talking about the ones that do. She was like, but we all know that most don't. So why don't they work? And I'm like, I've always been of the mind that there are several basic reasons why relationships do not work. And this is true of all of us, every zodiac sign, not just Aquarius. Our collective relationships do not work because we have some pretty flawed things going on from the beginning. The first issue is that we blow past red flags. That is the very first issue. And I'm going to talk about that in this video because I had some experiences today that made me giggle and I want to tell you about them. So hold that thought. Red flags. Number two, communication. I am very guilty of this. I do not like to be angry. I'm like the Incredible Hulk. You're not going to like me when I'm angry, and I don't like me when I'm angry. So instead of cussing somebody out, I don't say nothing. I just shut right off. I shut off until I don't care anymore about whatever has happened, basically. And once I shut off and I don't care anymore about whatever has happened, then I can have a discussion. Some of the times that discussion is years later, and some of the times I never can have the discussion. It just depends on my energy. So the first problem is that we have to learn better communication methods. You can't be in a romantic relationship and not communicate. And that's one of the things I told myself about my next relationship when I get in one, is that that's something that cannot happen anymore, number one. Number two, trust, loyalty, honesty. I roll those into one big ball because to me it's one major thing. And those trust, loyalty, honesty. A lot of people are not giving or receiving that in their relationships. And you can't be in a relationship with somebody you don't trust. I remember I was in love with this person, the only person I've ever been in love with. You all know, the one I call Voldemort. And I remember telling Voldemort, I love you, but I don't trust you. And I didn't know that at the time, but now it was no way in God's green earth we would have any kind of relationship. Because if you don't trust somebody, you can't have a relationship with them. You will have some kind of situationship, but it's not a real relationship. So not having trust, not being honest with each other, not communicating your feelings, not talking through problems, that's why relationships do not work. You can't be in a relationship and not communicate with your partner. You can't shut off on them. You can't not talk to them. You can't decide to do things and not, like my daughter's father used to always decide to do things and not even discuss them with me. You can't do things like that. You have to have communication. You have to have trust, and you have to have honesty in your relationships, or your relationship is doomed. It's doomed from day one. And one of the things I've noticed that goes along with this honesty and trust part is a lot of people do not think there's anything wrong with infidelity. They don't think it's anything wrong with it. They will tell you they'll be faithful. They will tell you, that they're monogamous with you and expect you to not see nobody else or do anything else. But first chance they get, they're talking to their ex on Facebook. First chance they get, they texting some girl from the club. First chance they get, they, talking to some dude at the gas station. And that's my thing. They will sneak and do sneaky stuff. A lot of people think it's okay. I mean, if you like, one thing about me, I used to have a really short haircut. I used to wear this short cut that Eve used to have from the Rough Riders. I used to love that cut, and it was short and it was curly and it was blonde. And one of the things I liked was going to the barber shop to get my hair done. I did not like going to the female salon to get my hair done. First of all, because it was cheaper. And second of all, because of the fact that I was just coming out the closet then. I was just starting to really feel my lesbianism. And I wanted to really embrace my masculine side. Women are not encouraged to embrace our masculine side. So I wanted to embrace it. I wanted to embrace the energy of it. So one of my little weird, quirky things I would do was get my hair cut at the barbershop. So I would go to the barbershop and I would listen to these conversations going on between the barbers and these men. Now, if you really want to hear an ignorant conversation, go to a barbershop. Go to a barbershop, preferably a crowded one in any hood in America, and I guarantee you will hear some of the most ignorant comments you've ever heard. I think the worst place you can hear comments is the comment section online. That is the worst place anywhere to hear ignorant comments. You're going to get a plethora of them online. The second place, the barbershop. So I would sit there and listen to these people talk about their relationships, mostly men, and they did not, it was not one man in there who would say, oh, you shouldn't cheat, you should be faithful to who you're with. Not one. Out of like maybe 30 guys in there, it wasn't one that might even utter something like that. Now, mind you, maybe they didn't say it because they didn't want to look weird or out of place. I don't know. But out of the conversations I was listening to, they basically think it's okay. They just feel like it's inevitable. Like, you're going to cheat, just don't get caught. It's not because they hate their woman. They just feel like sometimes they want variety. They had all kinds of different reasons for it. But it all really boiled down to a lack of integrity, and they thought that it was okay. They never saw anything wrong with it. They've seen their forefathers, their foreruncles, their forebrothers do it. They don't see anything wrong with it. Then the women that I've been around, the ones that thought the same way, like I did, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was nothing wrong with cheating for a long time, because everybody was doing it. So I just was like, it was song, OPP, what I mean? So I just, I didn't really think anything was wrong with it, especially back then, because I was dating males. When I first started to date, I was dating men and women, not just women. And I always believed that it was okay to cheat on men. I always believed that, because I felt like they're going to cheat on me, so what sense does it make to be faithful to them? I believed that all men cheated. That was my belief back then. And I didn't think it made sense to be faithful when they're not going to be. Like how does that work? I just didn't think it was fair, quite frankly. So I was never faithful to them. I was only faithful to the women that I was in relationships with. And if I wasn't faithful, meaning I was seeing somebody else, the women in me always knew that. We were always open with that. But the dudes thought whatever I told them. I told them whenever I wanted to. And as a matter of fact, I used to always tell my friends, because I was horrible, I used to always say, as soon as you meet a dude, cheat on him. Up front. As soon as you start to go feel him and you start to be monogamous with him and you start to make commitment to him, cheat on him. And they'd be like, what? Cheat on him immediately. So when he cheats on you, your feelings will not be hurt. I said that, me of all people, that was my saying. So, like I said before, a lot of people just don't see anything wrong with it, but it is something wrong with it. And that's what I found out through experience, through getting my feelings hurt, through harming other people. I figured it out, because I was like, oh, this is a lack of integrity, seriously. And we all brush it under the rug and he about it and, make songs about it and shit. But we all know that shit's not right. We all know it's not right because we don't like it when it happens to us. That's the shit right there. Because if it was nothing wrong with it, we wouldn't mind it if it happened to us. But I've seen a man, I used to know this brother, and we was cool. Nice guy. But he was a sex maniac. And he used to go around and have these, relationships with these women. And his wife didn't know. He got caught a couple times, and they would fight and had these screaming matches. It was horrible. Well, one day, his wife decided she was going to step out. She figured, he's stepping out, so why not? So she was stepping out some kind of way, he found out, and went ballistic. And I'm sitting there like, you can't be serious. Like, you can't be serious. Like, this man he was serial cheating. I'm not talking about an affair here and there. He was serial cheating. So I'm like, you can't possibly be upset with her when she cheated one time and you cheated like 1,000. Like, are you serious? But he went ballistic. Totally ballistic. They ended up breaking up. He said he couldn't sleep with her no more, couldn't be with her no more. And I'm sitting there like, what? And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, if it was okay, you wouldn't have minded. So it's not okay. It was never okay. And it wasn't okay when you did it either. But for some reason, you didn't realize that until it happened to you. And that's what I told him. So anyway, so that's a problem. Infidelity is a big problem. So all of those problems rolled up into one big ball is why relationships don't work. But it just breaks down to communication, trust, honesty, loyalty. Period. Now, in the very beginning, I told you that the biggest reason I think that relationships don't last is because of the red flags. Now, I want to elaborate on these red flags. Now, when it comes to red flags, the problem with them is that they're really little. They're really little at first, but they say big things. And that's the thing, is that when we come into a situation and we see a little teeny flag, we have the tendency to blow it off. But it's not to be blown off. Let me give you an example. A woman said to me, I was in a group. She didn't say it just to me. She said it to the group. And I was like, She said, if I like somebody, I'm going to push them away a few times just to see if they really riding for me. Just to see if they really want to be with me. And I'm sitting there like, so basically, and I said this. I didn't say this part of it. I said this part. I said, I don't like games and I don't like game players. I would move on. And that's all I said. And then she said, well, it's not really a game. It's a test and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't respond. Aquarius, we don't respond. I didn't respond, not because I was angry about it, but because I knew if I said what I was going to say, she was going to get angry about it, and then we was going to fight. And I don't fight on the internet. If somebody says something stupid to me, I just block them. And I don't say things to people that's going to start a fight, especially if I know it's going to start a fight. And I knew that was going to start a fight. So what I didn't say was, all right, because she called it a test instead of a game. To me, it's the same damn thing. The bottom line is that if it is, let's go with the test, okay? So you're testing me to see if I really like you, and if you keep pushing me away, if I'm going to fight to come back to you. Now, for me, not only is that childish, but it's borderline. Not even borderline, it's the beginning of emotional abuse, because what they're doing is they're testing you. They're playing games to see if you're going to step up to the plate, if you're going to, go hard for them. But what you're doing is emotionally manipulating them. So when you ask, are they going to go hard? What you're saying is, are they going to be upset? Is their blood pressure going to be up? Are they going to be calling you? Are they going to be coming to your door? Are they going to be crying? Are they going to respond? And you've pushed them away, pushed them away, pushed them away. Now you want to see how they respond to your push. You're emotionally manipulating them, genius. And she didn't see anything wrong with this. You're emotionally manipulating this person. So what is this? This is a red flag. So anybody who is in that particular room, in that particular chat, that's a red flag to you about what she's like. She's emotionally abusive. She plays mind games. She plays games with people's emotions to see if they really care about her. Now, let's take this further, because remember, I'm an energy worker, so this says a lot. And that's why I said red flags. The average person might figure out the part that I just said. Now, somebody who's energetically intuitive will see the rest of this. What does this tell us? Okay, intuitives, it tells us, number one, something has happened to her because she has a very severe fear of being betrayed. She's testing the person to see if she can trust them. So she's either been betrayed already or has a fear of being betrayed. So there's a major trust issue already present with this person. There's a trust issue and she's insecure. And she wants your actions to make her feel more secure. She wants to feel secure in the relationship. She wants to feel secure that you're going to be there for her. So we have a trust issue, and we have an issue up front of mistrust and an issue up front of security. So all those things together are red flags, but they're small ones that the average person would blow by. The average person would be like, oh, well, that was just a Facebook conversation, or oh, maybe she just saw that question or saw that saying somewhere, or oh, maybe it was this, oh, maybe it was that. They're going to blow past it. And what's going to happen is you're going to go right down that road with her. You're going to go right down that road, and she's going to take you through an emotional, mental roller coaster. Now, if you had peeped that in that conversation, the very first one that you having with her in this room or whatever the case is, then that's the red flag. For me, that red flag alone, not the fact that she and I were talking to each other or even interested in each other, because I don't even know what she looks like, but I don't need to, because once that energy is put out, it tells me back away. Back very far away. Don't even look at her profile. Don't even see if she's cute. Back far away, because this one got problems. That's what it said to me. And that's why I'm saying that we blow past these red flags. Somebody else might slide up in her DMs like, yeah, girl, I know what you mean, and end up right down the road with her playing them stupid mind games for the rest of their life. So that's up front letting me know, red flags. Another red flag issue I had today too, right after that in the same room, I'm always macking in the lesbian chat rooms, I met a stud. For those of you who don't know, a stud or a butch is a woman who looks masculine. Just because she looks masculine doesn't mean she's inner masculine, by the way, because I'm masculine on the inside but not really on the outside, so you never know. But anyway, so they look masculine on the outside. They wear the little fitted hats all the time and have short hair sometimes. Usually wear men's clothes. Not always, but most of the time. Young MA would be a stud or a butch. I don't think she labels herself that, but that's basically the look that she has going on most of the time. So yeah, it's that kind of look. So I met this woman, this stud, this butch. And one of the things I'm starting to realize about myself is that I have too much masculine energy to be messing with butches. Like I see it up front. But anyway, so we started to chat with each other. Now, I initiated contact because she said something in the group, and I like big women. And she was chatting, so I wanted to chat with her. I wanted to see, what was it hitting for? So I'm really good at this game now. I'm really good at this red flags game. I'm really good at reading emotional energy is really what it is. And I wasn't always. When I first started, like everybody else, I would give people the benefit of the doubt and all that kind of stuff. When I first started, I was, young and stupid. When I first started dating, I was young and stupid and idealistic because I'm Aquarius and I love love and romance, And it took a lot of L's and a lot of growth and a lot of spiritual growth for me to be able to tell you the stuff that I'm saying now. So, anyway, so, I meet this stud and we're chatting, and it didn't go very far. It was like 2 or 3 lines, and I said, inbox me, So she inboxes me, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I got to I think I asked her, what does she like to do for fun? And she said, instead of answering the question, she said, oh, I just saw your profile and I see that you read cards. You gonna tell me my fortune? Oh, so now you gonna tell me my fortune? Like that. And I was like, no, you ain't a paying customer, so I'm not telling you shit. Huh? Who works for free? Do you work for free? So, and that's exactly what I said. I said, I don't work for free. Why would you think that? No, I mind my business. Unless you pay me to do your cards, to do your oracle, your tarot cards, your whatever, I'm not moving a muscle. Like, I don't work for free. Nobody works for free. I don't care what your craft is, unless you're pro bono. What they call volunteering your time for something, a cause or something like that. Nobody works for free. That's like somebody calling you from McDonald's and saying, "Hey, can you come in and do a shift, but we can't pay you." Like, what? So I know some priestesses, some witches do free work. I don't. I don't, unless it's something that I donate for a cause, or it's one of my friends, to be honest with you. I even charge my family members. Like, are you serious? This is my job. This is my job, So I basically said that in one line. I didn't say all of that. I said one line. I said, I don't work for free. You ain't gonna worry about that. And she's like, oh, I was just joking. I don't believe in that anyway. Now, you trying to holler at somebody. You done put your foot all in your mouth. All in your mouth. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because she doesn't believe. She doesn't have to believe. She can believe anything she wants. She can be a Catholic. She can be a Methodist, a Buddhist. I don't care. She doesn't have to believe what I believe. But if you trying to holler at a woman, why would you automatically attack something that you can obviously see is important to her? This is my job. This is my job. This is my job, my hobby, my everything, quite frankly. I'm always doing cards, talking to people, doing spiritual work, doing magic, praying, chanting. This is what I do. You see and you look at my Facebook page, this is important to me because you're obviously looking at my profile. So why would you then attack in any way what I don't believe in, and you trying to holler at a woman? What? So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this conversation is over. And it wasn't, and again, it wasn't big. You see, that's why people miss them. They're little teeny things. But what does that tell me? Well, it tells me that she is automatically going to attack things that are important to me. She's already doing it. This is when somebody first meets you, they usually send their representative. That's the best of them. That is the best version of them. So if this is the best version of her, somebody who's attacking my beliefs on the first conversation, we didn't even talk for more than 4 minutes. And why did you even bring that up? If you looked at my profile and saw that I did something that you didn't particularly care for, why would you even have that conversation? I didn't bring it up. I don't bring up religion, politics, in the first conversation. I usually try to fill the person out. And I'm asking you, what do you do? What do you like to do for fun? That's the Aquarius. Let's have some fun with this conversation. And you automatically go into, oh, I see you believe in this. I don't believe in it. What the fuck? What's wrong with you? So automatically that tells me that things that are important to me, she's going to belittle. Things that are important to me, we see these things are important to me up front, spirituality and that kind of thing. She's already saying she doesn't believe in it, so she's going to be constantly, being pessimistic, constantly, coming at, and I'm going to have to constantly either deal with, ignore, or whatever, that energy. So it was just like, And then that's just one thing. You're doing that with this. What other things do I hold there that you're going to attack? I don't have time for that. Who does that? When you're trying to talk to somebody, you're supposed to be friendly and inviting and engaging. You want them to like you. You don't want them to be repelled by your energy. So, so she said that, and I was turned off. I was ready to end the conversation because, again, I've seen now all the red flags that I needed to see. That's all I needed to know in the conversation. So then she says, I wasn't being rude. So what does that tell me? That tells me that that I perceived our interaction as being rude from your part. And now you want to try to clean it up because I'm done. And I wasn't rude. I was very sweet to her. I was like, oh, okay, well, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for giving me the information, because she gave me some information about sneakers. I wanted a pair of sneakers, and she told me where to get them. And I was like, thanks for the information. See you later. And that was it. That's the Aquarius. We ain't even gonna cuss you out. We just gonna cut like an afro. And she said, oh, okay, well, I wasn't trying to be rude. Yeah, you're well beyond trying, babe. You well beyond trying. So my thing is, again, what did I get from that? Was, I perceived our interaction to be rude, even though I wasn't, nasty about it. I perceived it to be messed up, and don't want to talk to you no more. So now you're going to try to clean up. Oh, I wasn't being rude, hoping that I'm gonna continue to communicate. I'm not communicating no more, because in those 10 lines, very, very little information, 10 lines. In those 10 lines, there was enough red flags in there for me to see that you and I don't need to talk. Was it a big thing? No. It was very small and very easy to not notice. And again, this is what happens in relationships. We blow past these red flags. Now, these two things that happened today were just one conversation. Other people will blow past weeks. When I was young, it would take me like 2 years to figure out if somebody was really right for me. And of course they weren't. Then it started taking less and less time because I started recognizing these flags quicker and quicker. 3 months, 2 months, 2 weeks. Now I pick them up in the first conversation, because the average person cannot hide their energy. They can hide a lot of things. They can lie to you. They can tell you they are the CEO of Nabisco and have the gift of gab to back it up. But their energy will not lie to you. So the more I learn to read energy and realize what certain things mean, the more I realize, like, these are all red flags. So people blow past them. Somebody once told me that she was dating a guy. She had been seeing him for 2 weeks. He told her 3 different versions of the same story. He didn't remember, obviously, but he told her 3 different versions of the same story. But it was an innocent story. It wasn't like a big story. But it was 3 different versions of it. And I told her right then and there, he's a liar. If he gave you 3 different versions of the same story, he's a liar. He's a manipulative individual. There's a reason for that. The first time he told her that he found a surfboard on the beach. He said he was playing on the beach and he was rubbing the sand and there was a surfboard there, and he said, oh, he kept it, Then another time he told her somebody gave him the surfboard. And she was like, wait a minute, I thought you found the surfboard. Oh, no, that must have been another surfboard. He had forgotten the story. And then another time he told her that he bought the surfboard. Now, we don't know which one of the 3 is the real answer to the question. But the bottom line is that he's talking about the same surfboard. It was either found, stolen, gifted, something. He got it some kind of way. But the point is that if he's lying about something that small in the first 2 weeks, that's a red flag. That's showing you, even though it's a small thing now, red flags, people, are always small things. We always wait for it to be a major thing. If I had waited for it to be a major thing with the young lady I was talking about from earlier, who was a Gemini, by the way, and I was so excited because I was like, oh, I've been looking for a Gemini, and then she just crashes into the wall. But if I had blown past those red flags, in about 2 or 3 weeks, she would have commenced on continuing her campaign of whatever it was. I would have probably gotten pissed, cussed her out, and blocked her 9 times out of 10. So the point is why go through that? Do your 10 lines, read the energy, point out the red flags, and then go swim. And that's what I'm getting ready to go do, So like I said before, these are some of those things. I had a friend, and she told me that she was dating a guy. Everything was going good for the first 6 months. Then he disappeared. And then he came back. And then a year later, he disappeared again. And then he came back. And I'm like, red flags. You might not know what the problem is, but there is a problem. After he disappeared the first time, I would have dipped. That would have been the end of us, because that first disappearance right there shows you something is not right, especially when he came back like nothing happened. Come on now. Come to find out, this man had a whole family, a family in the Dominican Republic, and was going to see his family his wife and his children in the Dominican Republic. So my thing is that it took her 4 years to find that out, though. You knew in the first 6 months something wasn't right. You should have dumped him then. And that's what people do. They see the red flag and then they wait to see what does it mean or what's going to happen or what is it about. And sometimes that might take a long time. It could be years. It could be more months. My thing is, don't wait that long. As soon as you peep the red flag, dip. Dip. Because you know something isn't right. You don't need to know what it is, Newsy. You don't need to know. You know something's not right. You know it's not in your best interest. That's all you need to know. Okay? So for me, that's why relationships don't work. That's the biggest reason, is because we see things in the beginning that are problematic. We blow past them, and then 30 years later, we're upset. I had a friend. She ain't my friend no more. I don't even think she ever really was my friend, to be honest with you. I knew somebody once upon a time who was an associate. Let's go there. And my associate was married to her husband for 35 years. And after 35 years, he retired. And they got divorced. And I was like, what the heck happened? And she was like, he doesn't stand up for me, and he's a wimp. She says some things like that, and she was like, he's emotionally abusive. This is a white couple, and she said, I think he's racist. A couple different things she said about him. And I said, all of these things are things you knew when you first met him 35 years ago. Like real stuff, because we've talked about this. You knew this 35 years ago, so why is it a problem now? And the bottom line was that he wasn't home that much, so she didn't have to really be bothered with him. But now he's home all the time, and you realize that all those things you didn't like about him 35 years ago are still present, are probably a little bit stronger than they were 35 years ago too. So, she divorced him. She left him. But my thing is, again, that was present in the beginning. Most of the things that break us up are present the first time we talk to the person. So if you want a relationship that lasts, don't blow past the red flags in the beginning. If there's a red flag, move on. Now, I'm not saying anybody's perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. They'll be perfect for you, but they won't be perfect. So I'm not saying that. But there should not be red flags that indicate there are going to be problems later. And if there are red flags that indicate problems that may be abusive, like when I was talking about the Gemini belittling my feelings, she's going to be abusive. She's going to be emotionally and she's going to be verbally abusive. I would put money on it because she's already belittling me and she doesn't even know me. I didn't even invite her to have the conversation. She opened the door because she wanted to belittle me. And she wanted me to respond, either to disprove what she was saying, because Geminis like to do mind things. So they like to have like mental back and forths. So she either wanted me to disprove what she was saying or to engage in what she was saying, or she wanted to put me down or belittle me in some kind of way. And I just didn't want to play the game. I'm Aquarius and I peep all that vibration and I didn't want to play the game. I did not want to sit there and try to explain to you readings and what they mean and spirituality and change your mind in 2.2 minutes. I'm not trying to do that. I don't care about what your spiritual energy is. If you want to ask me questions, I'll be open to answering them. But telling me, oh, I don't believe in that, and oh, you're gonna read my fortune now? No. Don't care about your fortune, boo. Ain't nothing happening. So like I said before, she's going to be abusive. That's the bottom line. If she's starting off like that, when I meet somebody, I don't start off with things that are controversial. When I meet somebody, I start off with things that are romantic, that are fun, that are flirty. That's what you do when you meet somebody, because that's the ultimate goal, is to have fun with them, not to sit online and argue with them for hours about spirituality. Are you serious? You can do that in a group. Like, that's not what I came here for. I came here for romance, boo-boo. What's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? So anyway, That indicates those kind of things. And the more that you read energy, the more that you peep red flags and you just move on. So remember what I told you. They're going to be very small. They're going to happen in the first conversation. Some of the times, the first conversation could be a good one, and sometimes they happen in like the second, third, or fourth conversation because some people are conscious of the stuff that I'm telling you. Some people are conscious that they're screwed up and they want to make a good impression. So they've read things, they've seen seminars, they've seen videos like mine, and they know how to present well, representative. But the representative cannot last long. It can't. So I'm telling you, in the first 6 months, maybe some people say a year. I personally believe 6 months. Anywhere between 6 months to a year, that representative is going to have cracks. It's going to be cracks in the facade. You're going to see some cracks in the mask. And if you are paying attention, you're going to see them. Something that they say is not going to quite add up. Something they do is not going to quite add up. And it could be something that is like I said, really, really minuscule. But if you're paying attention, you'll see it. And when you see it, step off. Don't wait for them. Don't wait for them to show the fullness of how horrible it really is. As soon as you feel the energy, you peep the energy, you see that it's a problem, you know you don't want to deal with it, dip off. Just go ahead and dip off. And I'm getting better and better at this. I'm really great with it in romance. I'm getting better at it with friendships because this is something that happens in friendships too. And I think that it's really a problem for me in friendships because when I meet somebody in a friendship, my energy is different. I don't look for all those kind of things. I'm open. I'm just trying to get to know them. And some of the times it's problematic. So I've noticed that I have to do the same thing. I have to be just as discerning with a new friend as I am with a new lover. And that's what I've been teaching myself because I'm noticing that the better friendships that I have are the ones where I've been just as discerning. So that's what I think, guys. That's why I think relationships don't work. I think they can work if you have those things, if you look out for the red flags, if everything goes good, you have an honest person, a trustworthy person, a loyal person, communicative person. I think that's a really good foundation for you guys to start with. So if you can start with that kind of foundation, you can have a relationship. You can have a relationship that can become something. And yes, there's going to be problems. There are going to be ups and downs anyway. But at least you're going to have a good foundation to start with. If you don't start with those things, your house is going to crumble. And your relationship is not going to be a good one. If you do stay in the relationship, you're going to be miserable or you're going to be faking it for the rest of your life. And neither one of those things to me are acceptable. I'm not making a commitment to anybody until I'm happy. I'm happy and I want to do this. And I'm open to the fact that we have to work through things. I'm open to the fact that we have to communicate. I'm open to the fact that I have to push past my own limitations. I'm open to all of that. But I'm not open to doing it with somebody who is abusive. I'm not open to doing it with somebody who can't communicate. I'm not open to doing it with a liar. I am not open to doing it with somebody who doesn't realize that infidelity is an issue. All of those things, especially if presented in a way that I see them up front, all of those things I'm not putting up with. And if I see them at any point in the relationship from day one to the end, I'm dipping. I'm out, So that's my 2 cents on it, guys. And I've, been watching this for a long time. You guys let me know what you think in the comments because I'm telling you, I have been noticing this for many, many moons. Many, many moons. And I tell you, if you listen to these things I say, if you pay attention to those things and move forward with them the way I learned them and the way I've been doing them and paying attention to them, I think you'll have a lot more success. Those of you who have that issue will have a lot more success. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Take care.